Hey everybody, today we're going to kind of continue a tutorial that we worked on for Rhino 3D. Last tutorial that we looked at, we did a revolve with and created a rim and created this blank rim. So today I'm going to show you a little bit about extrude and array, and also how to boolean out some slots out of this blank rim, so we can make it look a little more like a mag wheel. Alright, I'm going to go into my right viewport and start with a control point curve. I'm just going to create an outline of one side of my slot here, and I'm going to turn snaps on and off here. I turned them off so I could get a little more freedom as I'm drawing the control point curve, and then I want to snap right back to the center of this grid, so I turn the snaps back on, snap to the center there, and then right click to accept that. Alright, and then I'm going to turn on my control points and go in and let me turn these snaps back off so I can move these points around a little easier. This is a pretty neat little feature that's in Rhino if you haven't already noticed. Whenever you select overlapping objects, you get this little selection menu which asks which object that you want to select, if you want to select the curve point or the surface. So I say I want to select the curve point. It's really unique in how it does that, because I don't know of any other software that actually asks you which object you're trying to select, which is kind of neat. So all I'm doing is just going in and making sure that I get everything looking halfway symmetrical, and I'm not really going for hard corners here, so this looks pretty close. Alright, so when I get this one side finished like I want, I hit escape to hide my control points. So I select half of my outline and go to transform, mirror, and it's going to ask me for the center of my mirror, and of course, since we want this whole side to be mirrored over to this side, we want to go right down the center here. And I'm just going to select this mirror plane down the center, click, and then right click to accept that, and there you go. So now we have two separate curves, and we want to join them together so that we can extrude this. So I'm going to select both, select one, and then you can hold shift down, select the other one, and come over to join, which will join these two curves together as one curve. Alright, so now I can take this curve and I'm going to array it around. So I go transform, array, polar, and it's going to ask me for the center of my array, and of course it's going to be right here in the center of this grid. Number of items, I want 5, hit enter. Angle of the first reference point is 360, enter, and there's my 5 outlines for my holes. Since this curve does not completely extend inside or outside of my surface, you can see some of it's inside my surface, some of it's outside my surface. I want this extrusion to pass completely through both sides of this surface. So if I extruded from this side, I wouldn't be able to get the back of this surface. If I extruded from that side, I'd be leaving out this part of the surface that is not intersecting. So for these purposes, this would be a good candidate to use a special feature in the extrude where it allows you to extrude from both ends of the extrude plane. So again, a solid extrude planar curve straight. Before I accept this extrusion, I can go up here to both sides and click yes. So now you can see that as I'm pulling the extrusion, I'm getting extrusion on both sides of that curve. So this is it's a really good tool to use, especially if you're doing a boolean like this. You want to make sure that you're passing all the way through both sides of the surface. So now we're going to use these extrusions to cut out the holes for our mag wheel here. So I'm going to go solid difference as my boolean type, select my first set of surfaces, which is always going to be the set of surfaces that you want a boolean from, and accept that. Then the second set of surfaces are the surfaces that I want to use to boolean or subtract from my first set. So I select these extruded pieces and accept, and it's going to calculate that a little bit, and there we go. We got a nice mag wheel here. So also, if you wanted to go in and do some lug nut holes, we could do that in the same exact way. I'll go right viewport, I'll draw me some circles here, turn off my snaps, and again, if you knew the exact radius of your lug nut holes, you could type them in at this point and you get the exact diameter. So just for now, I'm just going to accept that size, and again do an array, polar array, turn my snaps back on, click the center, and I'm going to say 5 of these, accept, and there's my 5 lug nut holes. So now I can go in and do the same thing here. Since these circles fall completely outside of the intersecting surface, then I shouldn't have to extrude both sides of this curve. So go solid extrude planar curve straight, and I'm going to extrude through the back. There we go. And then again, solid difference, select my rim first, accept that as my first set, then select the extruded circles as my second set, accept that, and then there we go. So we've got a nice little mag rim, and you can take this and save it in your library of models, and so you can always come back and use it. And so that concludes this video. Check back with us, and the next video we may do some lofting and sweeping. So hope you enjoyed it. Thanks.